Howdy YouTube, OldDW here. Now, I'm a fan of the 760. I started with one of the best, a genuine second edition from Nims himself. I picked up a 2004 edition down the road, and when a buddy of mine asked me for a BB gun, asked me for a hunting BB gun, asked me for a survival BB gun, I just got a Crosman 760. The Pumpmaster Classic with the 4x15 scope. More on that scope later. I thought it was a good choice. In my experience, smoothbore barrels typically shoot BBs better than the rifle barrels, even if you're comfortable shooting a steel BB down a rifle barrel. I got him this 760 in trade on a good one, good deal, and I proceeded to add my touch to it. Got my scope here, my dope here, added my silencer to the end, and I wanted to give my thoughts before I passed it on, both as a way to tell you guys what I think of it and specifically the new owner, how I think you should use this rifle. Because I've spent some time. I've shot it a lot, and let's go ahead and shoot it now. In fact, I think we need to load it. So why don't we go ahead and show that. To load the gun, we got to push the pistol grip forward, all the way forward, and you'll see that hole. In the pistol grip, I like to put my finger around it, kind of like a funnel. And get him to go in there. Uh-oh. I don't want to lose too many. These guys are expensive. Now this can hold up to 1,000, they say. I don't know. It does hold a lot. And some guys like to keep it full, simply for the weight balance. See, this is a very light rifle. Very, very light. It's lighter than any of the other variants that I have. And almost everything on it is plastic. About the only thing they've kept is that steel barrel. Solid steel barrel, not a pencil barrel. It's the only thing they've kept, I think, but I really do like that they've kept that. If anything matters, it's the barrel, you'd think. The thing they probably cheaped out most on is this stock. It's exceedingly hollow and thin and plastic. It's not a good kind of, glass reinforced polymer plastic. It is a cheapo toy plastic. I don't like the feel of it at all, but it's what we got to work with. I think everything is made of that same plastic. Cocking handle, the trigger, both plastic, and they're probably worse off for it. So now that we've got BBs down here in the pistol reservoir, we can add them to this top magazine by pulling this magazine loading button back and doing the 760 shake. Everybody knows the 760 shake. And now we got that nice glistening row of BBs to shoot. Oh, pull it back. And I've noticed on every single 760, but on this one in particular, that extra little oomph that you got to give it to pull the tip back far enough to pick up the BB, it's decidedly present on this variant. Let's just put it that way. This is a 2022 model date, January 2022. Yep. So relatively recent. Call that a spring chicken in my book. And you can shoot it with any number of pumps from 2 to 10. That's a little errant. It does have a little flex. And speaking of ergonomics, it is a semi-pistol grip, and that forearm is now recently extended and partially into the receiver. Yeah, that does give you greater leverage, but I find it does also increase the pain point. You get your finger, any of those fingers caught in there, that's a pain point in my opinion. But The younger shooters will like the extra leverage, I'm sure. They won't like this cocking handle force, which is very considerable. I find that youngsters have a hardest time pulling that back than anything else. You can pump it to 10 pumps and it doesn't get particularly hard, although maybe that's because of the extra leverage. Hey, got one in the bullseye. It's a smooth bore though, so take that with a grain of salt. It's never going to be the accuracy king. That's kind of why I was surprised that my friend of mine was insistent that it had be a BB gun and a hunting gun. And those two things typically don't go together. I told him, you know, get the pellet gun, get the accuracy, get the power. But his thought was, in a Teotihuacan scenario, he can store a BB gun and one of these and have 6,000 rounds to eat squirrels. I can see the appeal if you put it like that. It's just a $40 investment to have squirrels, as opposed to something like $100 and a lot more size to fit a pellet rifle of any decent quality and 6,000 pellets. So, practically speaking, how would he hunt with it? I am only about 10 feet away from that target. I'll start a new, fresh target. I'll go top right. 3 pumps. I'm not pulling those guys. I'm trying my best. I think it's a combination of it being a non-adjustable trigger. Sorry, non-adjustable sights. At least as far as this setup is concerned, I'm bottomed out as far low as I can go. And there's no windage elevate or adjustment at all. So I'm relatively on height-wise, but I'm just off to the left. The other thing that kind of impedes the accuracy is this trigger. It's creepy, it's stagey, it's spongy, it's plasticky, it's in all words, bad. I don't know of any upgrade for it, but if there was one, I would try to suggest it. You can't get any worse. Last shot. I rushed it, and that's what I mean. I rushed it, and I think I just jerked the trigger a little bit, and that's what sends it out flying like that. So, what's a guy to do, huh? Well, if it's a smooth bore, why not make it a shotgun? I find that 3 BBs is the most I can fit that won't fall against the gravity. And if we do our cards right, we'll have about an inch spread. I'll try again on a new target. That's not bad. I think you do one of those shots and that would get a squirrel. At least improve your odds. And, you know, it's not my idea. This is something that's been around a long time. In fact, I think the original 760 was touted as being capable of shooting 6 steel BBs with 20 pumps and taking out starlets and pigeons in flight. Quite the feat, I think. But you can shoot as many as you want to fit down the barrel, but they won't stay attached to this magnet. After you get a couple too many, the weight of the BBs becomes too much. Oh well, didn't hit the target, but I got all around it. That's what I mean. I don't think I could trust a single shot with this 760. It just doesn't have the accuracy, but if you use it like a shotgun, I think you could hunt with it. I don't know how effective that is range-wise. I wouldn't go out past maybe 15 feet with this. But under that, you could probably shoot a good little pattern. Of course, on the box, they advertise ideal for target. I'm not sure if I agree with that. As a smoothbore, it's minute of can accurate, and that's about it. I don't know if you could really expect anything else. So, things I did do to it, the silencer to tame the recoil is just a rubber tube press fit and glued in place inside the plastic outer tube with a couple of baffles from the plastic washers. So it tones down the recoil just a little bit. I lost the front sight, but painted the top rib white to kind of make up for it. I bottomed out a little bit, so I don't know if I'm ever going to want to sight it in closer than this, but I really can't. So I'm not losing anything, practically speaking. That's fine. Do have all the elevation height-wise, and there's no windage adjustment on these new editions anyway, which is kind of a shame, but that's just the way it is. This particular one shoots the Air Venturi BBs the best out of all the types that I've tried, the Crosman, the Daisy, the Black Widow. That seems to like the zinc plated Air Venturi ones the best, but again, not really great groups. It's not a match rifle, and you shouldn't expect it to be. It's a basic beginner BB gun, and for what it is, it's well worth the price. I think you shouldn't go ahead and buy the one with the scope. I've mounted the scope and taken it off. I don't think it's worth it. It's not a value add. At the distances you're going to be shooting it, you don't need the scope for sight acquisition, and it just gets in the way, especially if you're going to load pellets through this top port or do the BB trick or the shotgun BB trick. The scope gets in the way, so I don't recommend that. But as it is, the new one that's made in China, I think it goes for $45 without the scope. Is that better than the Daisy 35? Maybe, kind of. It's hard to say. Ultimately, I'd recommend you look for an older one at a garage sale or an estate sale or online, Craigslist. Most of the time, if they're not working, you can throw a couple of seals in there, a couple of O-rings, and you're good to go. If you could find a used one, I'd recommend that. Other than that, guys, if you need to pick up a new one, if you have no other way, I'd go ahead and get it, but just know that you're not getting the same quality that you used to. An older one, I think, is going to outshoot these guys, or at least both of my older models do this, outshoot this guy. So that's my opinion. Maybe I'm an old fuddy-duddy, but I like the old one slightly better. I hope Crosman keeps making them, even if they go to China. I hope Crosman sticks around. Just maybe in the hopes they bring them back eventually. But as it is, I'm happy to have this one, or pass this American one down on to my friend, and hopefully he'll save it up until he doesn't really need it anyway. But we'll see how it goes. Thanks, guys. You have a good one.